All right. Good morning. Welcome back to Breakfast Television. Let's talk a little bit about the big fight. On the weekend. Did you watch the fight?
Of course I did.
Bits of it on Periscope.
I watched it on Periscope as well.
No, you didn't.
The whole fight, all 12 rounds. Hundreds of people were Periscoping, and this is what I want to talk about.
Illegal?
It is illegal for someone to broadcast it. Yes. It is illegal to broadcast
for us to broadcast it.
Yeah, it would be, but this is, and we want to talk about this, the new reality of looking at live events, concerts, races, fights, things like this.
Concert you were just at, where you were Periscoping some of it.
From Neil Dunn, before I realized what I was doing. So,
but what was I just want to know as far as the quality of what you were watching.
You know what? It was what you would expect. It's someone shooting their TV through a cell phone.
Okay.
And there were literally hundreds on Saturday night. At some point, now Periscope, to have a successful Periscope, you need about 50 people to be watching you.
Yeah.
100 is really good. 200 is incredibly awesome.
How many were watching?
10,000 on quite a few of them. 10,000 people on all. So there were hundreds of thousands of people watching the fight illegally on the weekend, and this is just the beginning.
That's crazy.
And people are paying lots of money on pay-per-view to watch this on TV.
Well, in retrospect now, I should have probably done that route, because after the fight was done, I realized I just wasted $100 on that.
That's the thing. When I'm watching on Periscope, I'm thinking, boy, this fight really was not worth...
It's built up as a fight of the century, and this is the problem with boxing these days. We were talking about it last week, is that it needed a kick in the butt, but there's nobody to do it, and this fight was probably the worst promotional fight that could have gone on for boxing, because it was essentially so boring against 5 years, against a guy who's in his prime, against a guy who's 5 years out of his prime, and it ended up just how we all thought it was going to.
Yeah.
He pointed him out, it's very boring, and then next thing you know, you're sitting there being like, he's comparing himself to Muhammad Ali, this guy? Yeah. He's saying he's better than him? It was one of those crazy things.
And it's one of these cases where everybody wanted a different outcome. Everybody wanted Manny to win.
The polls online were all in favor of Manny Pacquiao. I think it was up as high as 67%.
Yeah.
But what I think what's going to be very interesting is they may have to go and charge some of these people and make examples. Or
I'm surprised they didn't pick them out of the crowd and have somebody...
No, it wasn't in the crowd. It was people at home who had paid for it and were shooting it on their TV sets.
But that's the new reality we're in. Concerts and all these different live events. How are we going to keep regulating this? It's Twitter's job to pull these streams down. So
that's true.
All right, we'll be back with more Breakfast.